Hey guys, before this video starts, I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Tyler. He started streaming recently. Go please show him some support over at twitch.tv/king_chimchar. He's been doing a lot of Pokemon, doing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Please show him some love. And another shout out I want to give, my buddy DeepElky33. IRL friend of mine. He's been helping me a lot with Noble Knights recently. He's overall a really good friend of mine. And one last thing, so I would like to really thank the Noble Knight Discord server. It's where I get a pretty good, if not all of my ideas from for the deck. So if you haven't joined the server yet, please go do so. Now let's get to the video. How's it going, guys? Today I got for you an Infernoble Knight deck profile. So I'm going to try something a little different today compared to my usual deck profiles. So first I'm just going to go through the deck really fast, not really explain anything. Then afterwards, I'll show the deck off as a whole, and pretty much explain why certain cards are there, and what possible changes you can make for like budget reasons or as different kinds of builds you want to try out. So let's get started with this. First of all, we have the only true one card combo the deck has, which is the triple Neospace connector. And of course, bring out the Aqua Dolphin. Afterwards, we got triple Renaud. We have triple Oliver. Double Fire Flint. You have double Red Layer. One Ogier. Triple Gearfried. One Genba. One Despot 1. One Coltwing. Triple Ash Blossom. One Rhoda. Triple Heritage of the Chalice. Next we have triple Durandal. Since we're playing Genba, we're playing triple Living Fossil. The one DDR, one Phoenix Blade, one Metal Silver Armor. We have triple Exchange, the one Called By, and triple Dark Ruler No More. And that rounds it off as at a 44 card main deck. On to the extra deck. You have double Isolde, one Charles, one Captain Roland, one Herald, one Underworld Fighter Balmung, one Power Tool, one Warlord Savage, one Shen, one Fusion Trishula, got VFD, Access Code, Memory Unicorn, Auroradon, and Hulky Fibrax. And of course, we also got help in tokens too, Nibiru token and Mech Phantom Beast tokens. And then the side deck. You have double Lancia, one Pinkertops, double Droll Lockbird, triple Ghost Bell, double Nibiru, one Feather Duster, triple Twin Twisters, and one Red Reboots. So that's it for the deck. And then next I'll just be explaining why certain cards are played, what other cards you can do, and what other options you have for deck building. Alright guys, so this is more of the analysis part of the video, where I go over why certain cards are played and things like that. So first, the triple connector and the one Aqua Dolphin. It's the only true one card combo starter in the deck, so you kind of need them, and Aqua Dolphin also helps make up for the loss of Smoke Grenade, so you can see your opponent's hand and rip a card out. The triple Renaud. So when you have a Fire Warrior on the field, you can special summon Renaud from your hand as a tuner, and if this card is special summoned, period, you can add any equip from your or Fire Warrior from grave back to hand. So it comes up as a combo extender, not really as a starter. For Oliver right here, you summon him from hand by attributing a Fire Warrior from your hand or you control, or sending an equip card you control or in your hand to the graveyard. So in that regard, he's not really a starter, he's more of an extender. He's also a tuner, and if you summon him by his effect, he becomes a level 1. Level 1 tuners are somewhat important in this deck for Warlord Savage plays. He also has the effect where once per turn, if he's in the grave, you can equip him to a Fire Warrior you control, and if he's equipped, the equipped monster cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effects. Next up, double Fireflint Lady, double Red Layer. Just generic special summons for the deck. Fireflint Lady, if you control a warrior, summon it from hand for free. And also, you contribute to summon another warrior from your hand. So if you draw Genba, that's where Fireflint Lady becomes exponentially more important. One red layer, though, he's just a big thing you can search off of Durandal going second. Special red layer to summon Connector, summon Dolphin. Red layer is just a beefy body to get a bigger discard off of Aqua Dolphin. Next we have Ogier. On normal special, you can Foolish Burial a Fire Warrior or Noble Arms card from the deck to the graveyard. There is one or two lines to play depending on how you build a deck that involves normal summoning this to start your turn, send this, summon this, or use this to search that. Then either way, you're gonna summon this guy, add this back to your hand, and in either instance of that combo, you end up with a Gearfried with an equip on your field before your 5th summon, so it helps a lot if you're fearing Nibiru. And if Ogier has the same graveyard equip effect as Oliver, except instead of protecting from being targeted, it protects the equip monster from being destroyed by card effects. So if you have something equipped with DDR, like Charles, for example, since that's going to come up a good amount in this deck, you can just equip your Ogier, so if DDR gets destroyed, the Ogier would protect the Charles equipped with DDR from being destroyed if DDR gets destroyed. Next up, Triple Gearfried. This obligatory bait deck boss monster helps against hand traps. He is non-targeting removal. He's an extender if you need to, since you summon him just by banishing a Fire Warrior. By banishing an equipped card, from either your field or your graveyard. He's also a level 9 monster to help make VFD. Next up, Genba. He's only in there for combo purposes. Do not play TD Striker. Genba is much better because he is a fire. That comes up more than you think it would with Nod. If you happen to draw Genba when you want to do your mill 2 combo off Isolde, you can mill 1, summon Fireflint, tribute Fireflint for effect, summon Genba from hand. So, it's not the worst thing in the world. 1 Despot 1, if you draw it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Preferably, you don't want to draw it. Something else that does come up more than you'd think with this deck is an OTK play with Despot 1, since it gains 500 attack and defense for every machine you control. So if you have himself, Auroradon, and your 3 Mecha Vanna Beast tokens, that is 5 warriors on the fields. Despot 1 is a 3,000 attacker. So 3,000 attack, plus the 23 from here, that's 53 damage. So if you can add on like a Gearfried, that's game. Next, Mecha Vanna Beast Coltling. If you draw this card, it is the end of the world for this deck. If you draw it, pretty much you scoop. But the combo with it, obviously, summon off of Mecha Vanna Beast Auroradon. Special summon it since you will control another Mecha Vanna Beast monster. If you do, summon 2 more tokens. So it helps trigger Despot 1 even more. Helps with your combo extensions. Next, Triple Ash Blossom. Yes, generic hand trap is generic hand trap. Nothing really else to explain with it. Rhoda searches off all your combo pieces. Heritage Chalice searches off all your relevant combo pieces for extenders. If it doesn't search your extenders, it searches the card that searches your extenders. Triple Durandal, the card that searches your extenders. Durandal is also really good just to have equipped to a Charles. So that if Charles gets destroyed or leaves the field or whatever, you have a little bit of insurance. You special back a Fire Warrior from your graveyard. Living Fossil is the quote extender equip spell I choose to play 3 in this deck, because you need to guaranteed add off a Power Tool Dragon for the Genba combos. If you play Plague Spider Zombie, you would play DDR3 instead and roll Living Fossil, but since this is a Genba build, triple Living Fossil is needed. 1 DDR, during the Isolde Mill 2 combos, DDR is the second equip I mill off Isolde, because the case if I have access to Renaud, it's the best one to add back in that situation. Phoenix Blade, always stump it off of Isolde. Just banish 2 warriors, add it back to hand from grave. It's just, you need it. You need to keep up resources. One copy of Metal Silver Armor. The monster it's equipped to is the only monster on the field your opponent can target, period. So, let's say you're against Virtual World. They have a lot of effects to target their own cards. Metal Silver Armor says if they target anything on the field, they have to target the monster group with this card. So, they can't target their own things, they can't use the Virtual World effects. That's pretty much the gist of this card. If you don't want to play it, you don't need to. This is an extra card attacking because I thought it was pretty good. Again, you don't need it. It's cool though. Triple Exchange and the one called By the Grave. Just generic hand trap prevention since the deck does lose to pretty much every single relevant hand trap right now. And Exchange, pretty much the same thing. Since you play a ton of extenders, you don't really care if your opponent takes one of them. So you just make sure you're able to do your combo, use Exchange, take a hand trap from their hand, while also seeing their hand. So also like a pseudo smoke grenade almost. And then Triple Dark Ruler, since this deck kind of dies going second in game 1. So you need something to not auto lose to Vanity's Ruler. If you don't see this card, you pretty much auto scoop against that card. Again, this is 44 cards, so if you want to bring it down to an even 40, you can take these out, take this out, no big deal. Onto the extra deck. Doubly Sold, you need 2, 1 for turn 1 plays, 1 for 2 turn plays. Nothing else really to say about it. Charles, not much to say, it's one of your best extra deck monsters. Just a free pop once per turn during either player's turn. Combined with this thing if he's in your graveyard, Captain Roland. Charles has the really good effect during either player's end phase. Equip and equip from grave to him, and equip a Fire Warrior from deck to him. So the reason why this card was so good to end on before banless was because he can just get Smoke Grenade, pop Smoke Grenade, and you get the instant advantage and knowledge right there. What I like to do with Charles now is I like to put Metal Silver Armor on him since the card's pretty solid against the meta, because Virtual World. Something else you can do is equip Durandal to him, and then equip from your deck this guy, Renaud. So then that way, if Charles leaves field, Durandal will summon Renaud back, then Renaud will add back the Durandal for a pretty much free follow-up play next turn. Next card, Captain Roland, level 5. On summon, you need to trigger his effect, and if you trigger the effect during the end phase, Foolish Burial and equip, and then add a Fire Warrior from your hand. So you can just add something like Gear Freed for a really good follow-up play. Then if he's in your graveyard on either player's turn, once per turn, you can just equip him back to a Fire Warrior you control. So it helps get the disruption on your opponent's turn with the Charles. One Herald of Arclight. It's a negate, super easy to make with something like a Despot 1 and a Mecha Phantom Beast token. And it also has a really solid pseudo macrocosmos effects because of for Drytron, since it's pretty good against that. Palatral Dragon. You make it on your Auroradon tokens. So you summon Auroradon, summon 3 tokens, summon back Despot 1. Synchro the Despot 1 and 2 tokens in Power Tool. Then Power Tool gets you into your Living Fossil. Or if you're playing the Armageddon Night Plague Spreader builds, you get into your DDR instead. Or if you're feeling extra saucy, if you haven't seen Durandal yet, and you already have a Living Fossil in circulation, you can just reveal 3 Durandal for a free extender. Such as the Renaud again. Bullet Savage. You don't make him nearly as much as you used to, but he's really good for when you have that Renaud as the extender, or if you have an Oliver. Next we got Shen, the Virtual World Synchro. This card is Macrocosmos. This card also has a recursion ability, so if you're going for a VFD play and you don't need to use Charles, make Shen instead, since it recurs itself. And that way you also just save Charles for later on in the game. Fusion Trish, my bad. You need it for VFD plays. Nothing really much else to say. VFD, that card needs no explanation. The card should be banned. I don't know why it's not banned yet. Access Code Talker for turn 3 plays, or going second plays, or whatever. Just a beefy body. Oregon, you need it for combos. Hockey Firebacks, you need it for combos. And then I put these two cards off to the side because these two are flex spots. In the Genba build, you do need Balmung, though. Just know that. So in the Genba build, this is the only true flex spot. Well, Balmung, level 4 generic synchro. If it's destroyed, you can summon a level 4 lore monster from your graveyard. So the play with it is, after you used Cultwing, you make this with a token and Despot 1. You then make Charles. Add back Phoenix Blade, equip Phoenix Blade to Balmung. Charles will then trigger to destroy your Balmung. Balmung will trigger, summon your Cultwing back from grave. You still have your Aurora on field, so Cultwing will trigger again, summon 2 more tokens, then your Despot 1 gets to summon back. So it's just this is a cool way to trigger Cultwing again. You need it for Genba combos, but you do not need it for Plague Spreader Zombie combos. Then last card, Nightmare Unicorn. I just put it in there since it's just another solid removal card that you can ladder into Axis Kotaka with. So that's it for the explanations of this particular deck. But what if you want to play a different build of the deck? How would things change? Let me show you. Well, for this specific build, some other things you could do. You could play a second Cultwing, because drawing Cultwing in this specific build is absolutely terrible. So you could play 2 to decrease the chances of opening an unplayable game, pretty much. You can also play Axe of Fools instead of Metal Silver Armor as another equip. That's because you either force out a negate on something, or you just get rid of the Vanity's Ruler. Pretty solid card. Now on to the real stuff, though. Let's say you want to play these 2 cards to open up a different kind of combo game. So what you can do, Plague Spider will replace Genba, and Armageddon Knight. Let's see if I remember. Let's see if I remember this. You probably just take out the Metal Silver Armor for him. And then we take 2 Living Fossils and we replace them with 2 DDR. So let me just take the 2 Living Fossils out and put the 2 DDRs in. That's pretty much the only change you make if you want to play Plague Spider Zombie instead. Or something else you could do, since this card isn't needed for this build, you can replace that with a Shooting Riser Dragon. Since it's just a flexible level 7 you could play, level 7 flexible synchro tuner. So that way if you need to modulate levels for a certain player, you're able to do that. The big thing about playing this card is that it can become a level 2 by sending Red Layer to the grave. Now let's say you like Plague Spreader Zombie, you want to play all this stuff, but you want to summon this card as well. Well, you play this stuff then. So in this situation, what you can do is replace these for these, take out 2 of these for these. One boots, 1 cloak. Then you can take out 2 Gearfried for 1 Fogblade, 1 Shade Brigandine. You would take out this card for Foolish Barrow, and then you would take out 1 more card. Kind of a tough choice what to take out. Let me just make some of these things a little more visible. What can you take out for this? And this is a really good equip to have in this kind of build. Let's say you could take out... Let's just say you can do without one of these. So we can do this. Then the last change we need to make is take out Unicorn and put in the Appaloosa. And all of a sudden, we have a build that can just immediately go normal summon this guy and just have an Appaloosa out before you do any of your Hulky Fibrax stuff. Pretty good. Now let's say you just want to go back to the regular build. I was gonna have a better segue, but I didn't know what to say. Let's just go back to the Genba build. Yeah, I'll get there in a few moments. Alright, so now let's just get into some other good options you could play in the deck. Since one of the cool things about this deck is that there are a lot of other options you could play. So let's say you don't want to play Shen Shen. Let's say you're playing more hand traps and you want to have an extra chance to draw into more hand traps. Well, this guy instead. It's a Krakow Dragon, just another level 9 you can make, and he draws cards on 7. And he also has a quick destruction effect, so he's good against decks like Zodiac. Let's say you don't want to play this thing, for example, and you want to have an option for if you open this guy and this guy. Well, in that situation, you can play Highland Sladen, so that way you can get gear free before you mill for Assault. Pretty good option. Or if you want to play different Nightmares of the Unicorn, you can just play Nightmare Phoenix. More extra deck options. There's Trishula, just non-targeting and some banishing, whips another card out of hand. There is Captain Oliver. I don't know how good this card is, but I've seen some people put him in the list, so figured why not include it here. Same thing with Excel Synchron, another level 5 tuner synchro. I don't know why it's good, but I've seen it in the list. I've heard it could do something in the deck. I don't know what it does, but I heard it. This Phenomenal Pulse Dragon, I have seen like a decent amount of play this card. I don't know specific combos, but I know he could be good in, I think, Plague Spreader's zombie build stuff. You can play second Hulky Fibrax. The card's good, so why not? In case the first one gets negated, you have a second one for follow-up next turn. Then let's say you can't afford an Access Kotaker, since the card's kind of expensive right now. You could play Unchained Abomination. Card's not bad, it's more destruction, and it has good synergy with Charles. Since Charles destroys something, then Abomination will destroy another card. No, I forgot to get this guy out of here. Let's say you don't want to play Dark Ruler, but you still want to have some sort of main deck negation. You can play Droplets. The main reason why I'm not playing Droplets in this deck, though, is because against Virtual World, you need to have a trap for Droplets to really do anything. And as you can see, there's not really any trap cards in this deck. Even in the side deck, the only trap was the one copy of Red Reboot. Moving on, though. Let's say you don't want to play Exchange, or you don't want to play Dark Ruler, but you still want to have more cards that can either help you on second, or cards that will help you out. Actually, no, there's more cards for going second. You can play more hand traps. You can play Skullmeisters. Skullmeister, really good card right now. You can play Crows, also really good. You can also play the Psyframes. Super high impact. If you play Psyframes, you can also play E-Telly, since this card turns Gamma into an extender. So that way, if you lose access to Living Fossil, you can just E-Telly out Gamma and it does the exact same thing. Let's say you don't want Connector to be your only normal summon one card combo. Let's say you're going second, you open no monsters, but you open this card. What are you going to search to start your plays? You can search Sublimation Knight, searchable off Durandal, on normal summon, equip this from your deck, activate effect, special summon it. Do not use this other effect or you'll be locked out. This is another one card starter. Not really the best thing to play in this deck, but it's definitely, in my opinion, a viable option for a more budgety kind of build. You could also just play more extenders. Astolfo is always an option. He's definitely shines more in slower formats, and he helps get your Charles back out in 2 turns, so kind of like a Gold Zark. You could also display more of these cards. They're always there. For more generic extenders, you can also always play Monster Reborn. Card will always be good in combo decks. You can play a 1-for-1, so that helps get this guy out. You can play a Reasoning, since there's a bunch of different levels in this deck. There's 4, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 4, 9, 2, 1, 4, and 3. Hopefully, chances are your opponent probably won't get the right number. Let's say you're playing in remote duels and this card's banned because it's kind of awkward in remote play. You can play Drag Down. Accomplishes the exact same thing, only downside being that your opponent can potentially draw into another hand trap. Let's say you want a third option for the same kind of goal with Drag Down Exchange. This is a card I saw floating around. This card kind of like Mind Crush, where you declare a card name and look at your opponent's hand. Except unlike Mind Crush, this card actually tells you to look at your opponent's hand. If the declare card is in their hand, you banish it from their hand. But if the declare card isn't, you banish a card from your own hand. So high risk, high reward, but you just get a free look in your opponent's hand. Pretty solid card, but it's super risky. Let's say you don't want to play this card, you don't want to play Action Unit, and you don't want to play Axe of Fools, but you still want to play an extra equip. You can play Arthur. You can equip it to a warrior, pop a set card, and then if you link that warrior into Isolde, this can equip back onto your Isolde and you get another free pop. Really pretty good card. You can also play Overdone Burial. It's another extender, and if you happen to be in an instance where you need to use it, you can always add something like Riddler off it, so you guarantee you have a high level monster in your hand to bring back one of the lower level main deck monsters with. You can also play more Aqua Dolphins. Aqua Dolphins is a good card, so why not maybe try out more for more budgie kinds of builds. You can also try out main deck Roland. It's not that great of a card, but who knows, maybe it could be decent one of these days. And now for these last few cards, let's say you're on a pretty tight budget. Let's say you can't afford to play more than one of these, and you can't really play more than one of these. What can you do if you want to maximize your chances of seeing this card, since this card's kind of good? And you don't really want to dip into more extra deck plays. So like, let's say you don't want to play these things either, because kind of pretty heavy relying on this guy and this guy. And if you don't see them, these cards do lose a lot of value. You could play Mo Ogiers, so in that way, you have a chance of seeing it in your opening hand more to effectively search out this guy. But then you still need to see this card or this card to really make use of it. Then you can play any number of glory to immediately equip this to the deck. From the deck to then search out your Renaud. And if you go down that kind of route, you will want the Ignoble Knight of Highland slotted. But anyway, that is all I have for you today, guys. If you want to see sort of like some of the lines of play this current iteration of the deck could do, please let me know in the comments, and I will get that done for you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and take care, guys.